G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/AmITheA, where in our first story today, OP has a petty response to their boyfriend's purposeful incompetence about chores, basically weaponized incompetence. But without further ado, I hope you enjoy the episode. Am I the asshole for my petty response to my boyfriend's purposeful incompetence about chores? My boyfriend has started pretending to be bad at basic life crap like dishes and laundry. Like, he can't do it, so I do it. I felt pretty frustrated with that, and told him straight up that I knew he didn't forget how to clean since he moved in with me. He was always very competent living alone, and I didn't appreciate him forgetting how to do chores. I said that when I asked him to do dishes and he refused and refused until he finally did them wrong, that I was not stupid. He said that he was trying his best and I was wrong for saying he was trying to manipulate me, and that from his perspective, I asked him to do something and he did it the best he could, and I kept at him because it wasn't up to my impossibly high standards and he couldn't win. And he wanted me to believe him when he says he's trying. Anyway, this might be petty, but I decided to give believing him a try. So, he had bleach stained my favorite little black dress. Instead of getting mad, next time he had a family event, I put it on. He asked me if I really was going to wear that. It looked messy. I said that I loved that dress and understand accidents happen, so I wasn't mad or upset it had bleach spots, actually. I thought it looked kinda cool. He said he really thought it looked bad, and I said if he wants, he could Sharpie on the white spots real quick in the Uber. It ended up looking even worse. Another time we were having dinner, and he had done the dishes, but put some of the cups and bowls in the dishwasher upside down so they filled with dirty dishwasher. I took those cups and bowls, dumped them out in the sink but didn't wash them further, and served his food in them. He said that it was dirty and I was like, they just came out of the dishwasher. It's just water. It's fine. He said that no, it was disgusting, and I said it was really no biggie. I was getting over my impossibly high cleanliness standards, and I really didn't think it was that gross. The last time, I had cooked for a work party of his. After cooking, the dish needed to cool for about 30 minutes and then be refrigerated. I had plans with my friends that night, and I asked him to put the dish away after it cooled. He forgot. The next morning, he noticed the dish was never refrigerated. I said it was fine, it was just a mistake, and it would probably be fine to eat. There wasn't a lot of meat in it. He got frustrated and said that you can't serve meat left out overnight, even if it's only a little. And I said, oh, I think it should be okay. Stuff happens. He stopped being so lazy about chores after he realized I seemed totally okay with leaving stuff done badly and that he'll be living with it. But I feel a little petty for having been dishonest about it. I actually hate how my bleached dress looked, and my stomach turns at dirty dish soup and unrefrigerated meat. Am I the asshole for being petty? No, I think this is a pretty good way to go about it. I feel like you were really reaching your breaking point by the end of it there, and, props to you that you held out that long. I imagine you were so very goddamn close to breaking, yet you held character, and that in itself is impressive. Good job. I think this is the perfect amount of petty in this situation. It could have gone further, but this is as far as it needed to go, so good job. Not the asshole for that. Now in the comments, not the asshole. You're a genius. It's not petty. It's refusing to let him externalize the cost of his behavior to you. I think it's brilliant, and you should keep doing it whenever this comes up. If he's truly being willfully incompetent, you will get the results you see here, and he'll have to cut the crap out. If it is an area where it truly is your higher standards, you will see that when he doesn't care, and you will be able to decide what to do with that information. Well done. I don't think she was being a genius. She wasted a lot of time not dumping this lazy ass. But it also taught him that weaponized incompetence isn't going to work, so he shouldn't try. All it'll do is make his life less comfortable. Exactly. She is saving the women of the world one bleach stain at a time. This was malicious compliance at its finest. I'm impressed with how OP handled her boyfriend. She didn't resign herself to being his maid like so many women do. Instead, she went along with his little game and made him deal with the consequences like an adult has to do, rather than saving him from himself as if she was his mummy. She even made him eat from his own dirty dishes. Bravo, OP. Not the asshole. You are a hero. Why don't you just dump him? Rather than be petty, upgrade yourself. Not the asshole. Yeah, OP is definitely not the asshole, but just break up with him. A. Weaponized incompetence is a dick move, and who wants to be with a dick? And B. Even if the pettiness cuts down on it, who wants to be playing these games for the rest of their life? Sheesh. And OP replies, this has all been making me reconsider whether I see him as a life partner, to be honest. I'm trying not to rush into life decisions and take some time to think through. I definitely saw us being together long term. Before we started to live together, I saw him as smart and competent and kind and motivated. He had his career and social life and home life in order and was independent and competent and responsible. But since living together, I feel like I expected him to stay just as competent and independent and mature. And it feels sometimes to me like he had an expectation that he could do less and I'd be mummy, which makes no sense because we both work, we both have active social lives, and sports and hobbies. Neither of us is just home all the time wanting to be a homemaker. The white spots? Oh, Joe put bleach in the wash with it? I think it came out looking great. The Sharpie marker to try to cover it up was his idea too. At his family event. Tell 'em all what a goober he's been. I love it. Not the arsehole. And OP replies, ha, it actually went down a little like that. His mum said that she thought I spilled something on my dress and offered me a napkin. I said, oh, actually, boyfriend spilled some bleach on our last load of laundry a few days ago. Just a little mistake, but he tried to cover it up. And it was so sweet he was trying to learn how to do laundry and chip in more at home when I was swamped with work, even if he used the wrong bottle. And his mum and sister made kinda WTF faces because I think they knew he knows how to do laundry and isn't just learning. He's 30, lived at home for a while during college, has lived alone for a while, and his whole family must know that he knows how to wash clothes. Damn, and here I was thinking he was early 20s. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for reverse trick-or-treating with my wife? Good evening. This happened a few nights ago, but I just heard it was causing drama today. My wife and I moved into our neighborhood a few weeks ago, and we live somewhat rural. We live in a small town, under 5,000 people, but have about 4 dozen homes within a 20-minute walk. We know there aren't any kids in the neighborhood, and we're told to expect no trick-or-treaters. So, my wife and I dressed up in costumes we had easy access to, nothing controversial or inappropriate, and stocked up on candy. We made little baggies for each house in our neighborhood with about a dozen fun-sized pieces of candy in each. On Halloween night, we went from house to house, and about half the people opened for us. We'd give them candy, introduce ourselves, and move on. We started around 6:30 p.m. and finished around 8:30 p.m. We started far out and moved back in towards home, towards a few people we had casually met. Today, while getting the mail, my wife overheard a group of people talking about the new, weird neighbors who decided to take up a chunk of everyone's evening on Saturday night. That, mixed with 2 of the houses on our route telling us that people don't do that kind of thing in our neighborhood, and one telling us we are going to burn in hell for celebrating a satanic holiday, has me thinking that A, we have at least one loony neighbor, but B, maybe we may have crossed the line in going out in the evening. I'm dismissing the satanic panic right away, but with multiple people telling us we weren't welcome, and the stuff my wife overheard, I'm wondering, were we out of line? Are we the assholes? Thank you. Now in the comments, not the asshole. Guessing that the snobbish church ladies got together to gossip. The normal people in your neighborhood are probably fine. And OP replies, from what I'm told, they were mostly younger. Young people can still be snobby Halloween haters. Not sure why, but they exist. Very true. Ignore them, and double down by giving out more candy next year. Also, plan to get your satanic decorations game on. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm sure some people appreciated you introducing yourself. Some people will always be overly sensitive and unpredictable. OP says thank you. Not the asshole, OP. Was it the best way to go about it without getting a feel for the neighborhood first? Probably not. But you tried something lovely, and it just happened to backfire. It was later in the evening, and at a time of the year that can be stressful and eventful, where there are loads of tricks as well as treats. So they may have thought that it was a prank or a commentary/protest of some kind. I live in a country where Halloween isn't really celebrated, but I have found a good way to welcome new neighbors without being intimidating or bothering them at an inconvenient time is to make a little parcel of homemade goodies and a little card with a warm welcome and letting them know which apartment it came from, which allows them to get in touch if they feel comfortable and there is no pressure to return the favor. Not the arsehole, but word of advice, small rural communities aren't always that friendly, especially to people they consider different. I hope this blows over, but you might have just become weirdos for a while. I once moved to a small town for a bit, was excited since people like to hype how close everyone is, but literally the only compliment you will get is bless your heart, which PS is not a compliment. Turns out people are rude everywhere. Although, at least when I lived in LA, they had the decency to flip you off for a second and then move on with their day. Sorry for the rant, just not a fan of rural towns. Back on topic, what you did sounds very nice, and far more than what I've done when I greet new neighbors. If a few minutes to meet the new neighbors is inconveniencing them, then just ignore them from now on. Our next post is titled, Am I the Arsehole? I refuse to put my brother up for adoption. So I, 28 male, and my wife, 28 female, have been married for 2 years. My wife is 4 months pregnant. My parents died in a car crash about a month ago, and my brother, 14 male, has nobody to turn to except me. We have no other living relatives. I decided to take in my brother until he's an adult, but my wife feels like it's not our responsibility to care for my brother, and since she's pregnant, she wants me to focus on our child. I told her that my brother has nowhere to go, and hence he'll be staying with us at least until he's an adult. She's mad at me and refusing to talk to me unless I put my brother up for adoption. Am I the arsehole? Edit 1. Just thought that I'd add this in, since some of you may be confused by the age gap. I was a teenage pregnancy. And edit 2, it will not be hard financially on us, since our parents left me and my brother an inheritance, as well as a college fund for him, and all of that can go into taking care of him. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the arsehole. I believe I might be the arsehole for not prioritizing my wife over my brother. Yep, you know what? OP, just put your kid up for adoption at the same time too, because that seems a very logical thing following her train of thought. God, I can't believe you're putting all of this time into your wife when your brother is more important here. Maybe we should put your wife up for adoption at the same time too. That seems just as reasonable as her expectations. I really hate your wife's attitude. I hate this ultimatum that she's putting on you. That is not healthy, and give it time, talk to her, fix the situation. But I feel like adopting out your brother, given all the information you've given us, is just crazy. That is absolutely crazy, and she knows it. Not the arsehole OP. Now in the comments, not the arsehole. That is your only living relative by blood. Ask her how would she feel if you have a child and they put your younger child up for adoption if you died. Yes. What plans does she have in place should, deity of your choice forbid, something awful happen to you and your wife? If she says a family member would look after child, then she is a massive hypocrite. I hope this was just an initial shock reaction, and she very quickly realizes she is being heartless. If not, secure the inheritance for your brother and seek counseling, help, and lawyers. Not the arsehole. She's about to be a mother, and she's turning away your sibling? So many things are wrong with this equation. Put her up for adoption. Exactly. This is a major red flag. OP's brother is 14 years old, it's not like she'll have to care for him that much, and it's not like OP's brother is going to steal the father away from the baby. She'll have to deal with the baby soon, yet she can't deal with OP's brother for another 4 years? I would divorce her ass so fast. Record every conversation going forward, because this makes me question her ability to be a parent. I'd get as much evidence as I can to make where if OP divorced her, he could win custody, because this is a giant red flag. Not the arsehole. Your wife is showing a shocking lack of empathy towards any person, including family, who is not in her immediate bubble of 3. I appreciate that a 14-year-old kid appearing right at the time she's expecting her first baby is an inconvenience, but your goddamn parents died, and she won't talk to you because you want to look after and support your brother? I hope your parents are looking down and are proud of you. I hope that you also consider ditching your wife. Edit. I'd secure all inheritance left from your parents into a separate account that your wife can't access too. If they didn't have a baby on the way, I'd say this is an immediate divorce. As it is, they need counseling right away. I can understand OP not wanting to divorce since he has a child on the way, but damn, that is a cold, uncaring woman that he's married. It's not like too many people want to adopt a 14-year-old. He'd likely go into the foster care system and his life would be ruined. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for getting upset my boyfriend wouldn't take me to the ER? My boyfriend, male 20, and I, female 21, live together at my parents'. I have been having some pretty bad UTI symptoms and went to a walk-in clinic 2 weeks ago when I had clear signs of a UTI, and they sent me home and said I tested negative. I woke up a week later with extreme hip pain. I spent all day on a heating pad and crying. 2 more days pass, and then I woke up with the worst abdominal pain I've ever had. I begin screaming and call my mom. She says to wake up my boyfriend and tell him to take me to the nearby hospital, 7 minutes, that is small, or one that's 35 minutes away that would properly handle what was going on. I wake him up and he says just sleep it off. At this point, I'm in tears. He says no and alludes that I'm overreacting, which I've been known to do, and it's probably nothing because I tested neg. I feel as if I've been stabbed, and this is not the type of pain I can wait out. I even compare how I'm feeling to a possible bladder rupture because of how awful I felt. Finally, he agrees to take me, but only if I let him sleep for 2 more hours. I understand that if it was some ungodly time, but it was currently 11:30 a.m. and he went to bed at 3 a.m. after playing video games. I explain that I can't wait that long and have no one else home to drive me. He turns over and lays back down. An hour goes by of the worst pain of my life, and I just decide I'll try to suck it up and drive myself to the nearby ER. I woke him up one more time, and I explained that I cannot wait any longer and I need to go now because something is wrong. He snaps and says give him 1 more hour and lays back down. I storm off in my car and make it about 2 blocks before I realize I forgot my wallet and I was in no state to drive, as I was literally in so much pain I couldn't focus. I come home and lay down in bed beside him as I scream out in pain. He says that I know it takes time for him to wake up, and I have no right to get mad. I barely utter out, please take me to the one 7 minutes away because I'm scared. I remind him that I have driven 2 hours at 3 a.m. on no sleep just to pick him up from the hospital and spent the whole summer helping him recover from his injury, including bathing and wiping him because he needed me. He argues some more, and then finally, at 2:30 p.m., takes me to the hospital 7 minutes away. It turns out I had an advanced UTI and an infection in my bladder and kidneys, as well as a kidney stone that was infected. I felt bad as I recalled my attitude that morning, but I was in a lot of pain. I do recall saying things like fine, just don't help then, and you were being a dick in rebuttal to his attitude. Am I the asshole? Now in the comments, pass the kidney stone, pass the boyfriend, not the asshole. You need rid of all of these. Screaming and crying in pain? A person who can ignore that is not the one for you. I take it cab etc. weren't an option. You can't rely on this guy, so you need to have alternatives. And OP replies, nope, super small town, so no Uber, etc. He really was my only option at the time to get the care that I needed, and he knew that. Babe, dump him to the curb, and I don't say that often. He is not a keeper. You will have to drive to give birth alone, raise kids alone. You know, my hubby had those kinds of pains and it was his appendix. If I had waited, it would have ruptured. Just run for your life, quite literally. Because if they had a kid, OP must also raise the adult child too. Also, someone who's refusing to help to go to ER is someone you must stay away from. The treatment women settle for and rationalize from men is so depressing. Ladies, the bare minimum you should expect from a man is him actually being concerned when you are screaming in agony and will insist on you going to the hospital. Not the asshole. You were in pain and asked to go to the hospital. Why your partner didn't top up like there was a fire under him is concerning and sounds like you need a new boyfriend. One that actually cares about your well-being. Yup, this. First, not the asshole, and then a bunch of red flags. This boy has shown you who he is and how he doesn't value you or your health. Kick that dude to the curb, you not only can do better, you must do better. If anyone I cared about was in physical pain and needed help, I would help them immediately. If there was a stranger who was writhing in pain, I would try to help them right away. This dude isn't a good person. He isn't a decent person because decent people don't ignore someone in distress. Add to the fact that he's cheated on OP, and I feel pretty comfortable saying this is an incredibly unhealthy relationship for OP, and it shouldn't continue. Basic human empathy is lacking if you are literally begging for help and your partner don't give a hoot and can ignore you.